Welcome back to Be the Trader, everybody. Today I have a brand new episode from the Tandem Trading series, and I hope you really enjoy this. A lot of you guys keep sending me comments, letting me know you want more. So here it is for you. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you're notified for more episodes like this. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. All right, so right now I am watching BBI overextended. We have some resistance in the 3s and in the 4s, really 4s. 3s is not as strong. We have support in the 190s. And it's already kind of fading, so I would love to get a short in this. Maybe start short in the 290s, but I would really like close to 3, above 3 is what I would really appreciate it. So we'll see if we can get that. If we can, that would be really great. I'm going to try. My goal is to take full size in this position. It's also already rotated its float, so it's something to stay aware of, to make sure that I cover when I get pullbacks and not, overstay my welcome. I'm also looking at EDSA, which was an expensive borrow. 20 cents a share is what I paid. It's just stupid, but it's also up $5 a share. So, and there's some resistance, definitely some resistance overhead. I like this pullback with volume. I like the topping action. I like that that's interesting there that we're kind of holding this area. But I do like that we're fading. So I like to see, on this one, I like to see an exhaustion. Like, it's also already rotated its float. It's 3 million already traded, or it's about to. The float's 4.7. So I'd like to see this. If it looks heavy in the 850s, that'll be nice because that's a key area, right? If you go back here on the chart, 850s is a key area. So we start to fail up there. Maybe I'll start shorting, risking that area. Maybe 9, just because of how this can move. But ideally, I'd love for this to get a good squeeze. Squeeze up to 980s. Now, because it's already down $2 a share, I think 850s is more reasonable. So I'll be watching that as well. May take a position. The other one is, let me see, BHTG. I really like this, but I don't think I'm going to get an entry. I want to risk the 230s right up here, 235. The unique thing about these trades, unlike Fridays, they all do have news. That's something to be aware of. Unlike Friday, none of them really had news. I mean, 1 or 2 plays did, but these are also up a ton. So this one's not up as much. It's also the weakest of the bunch. So I would like to see this pop to 2. Above 2 is my goal, so I can start shorting. I'm just not sure we're going to get that. That's probably the least likely to happen, I think. And this one is doing exactly what I want. It's what I like to see. So I'd love to get a short if we can get a pop at the open. I like that we held that. So it all depends on how it acts at the open, because I could build a case to risk $3 as well if it looks weak up here, because it is up 100% already. So I'll be watching this very closely. So I'll come back closer to the open and figure out what I'm going to do. All right, market's opening up. Let's see what's going to happen. I'm a bit anxious because I do want to get a short, but we'll see if we get that. So we're just getting a pullback on BBI. BBI has rotated its float, so I'm expecting a push up. Really hope we get that. Instead, right now, we're just getting a melt. EDSA, however, we are getting a push up. So I'm watching that right now. See what's going to happen in this level. BBI. So EDSA has just failed that push. So I just gotta be patient here. I may have missed my play, but I'm not gonna just short randomly. That's one thing I'm not going to do. I hope we get a pop here. I really do. EDSA. I love a pop on this one too, preferably the 750s. I'll be risking that 850 area. These are the times where I want to just short because I don't want to miss it, but I also know that these can bounce, so I'm gonna wait. And I may miss the bounce I'm looking for, but I'm still gonna wait for a bounce. BBI is giving us that bounce right now. Remember, it's rotated its float already. I'd appreciate a pretty good bounce here. Just more selling pressure. This is just straight panic though. I'm not going to chase that. Look at that, it's just straight down. I'm not going to chase that. I expect a bounce, and I think we'll get one. I just got to be patient. Could build a case to risk this $8 area. Or this previous, so like $8. But right now I'm just gotta be patient. BHTG, we may get that, that actual bounce that we're needing. I'm hoping this one bounces. Although, it may not. I do like this sign here. There's a weak breakdown. I'm hoping that this can start the reversal and they can start to spike and squeeze all the shorts who were chasing. But we'll see. BHTG is, I think we're going to start to get a spike here, which would be nice. I would love for this to really go. We'll see if it happens. We also got BBI spiking. You can see here on the level 2. I'm hoping this actually spikes and goes. That would be a great sign. BHTG is spiking some more. I'd love to get a full position in 215 areas. We'll see if we get it. BBI is spiking, which is nice. Hopefully it continues. Right now I'm looking at 290s, 315s. See what happens. The float has rotated, so I'm gonna be a little careful. Easy SA is starting to bounce too, so that's nice. Well, that's a weak bounce. Alright, we're getting our spikes. This is nice to see. EDSA is spiking a little bit too. Hoping we get a push here. EDSA is pushing kind of nicely here. Hoping we start to get pushed above 750. Maybe not. Alright, it's not what I want to see here. I want to see this crack. I think I see it. I see a big bit there. We'll see if it's real. It is real, bounce, but it isn't. And it cracks. I think I just hold pieces on this. So. It's already rotated slow 2 times, just about. I'm hoping the whole thing squeeze, so I'm looking for it. So I just gotta be patient and wait for that. If it crack, it could change the whole game plan. But for now, I'm gonna set up and I'm gonna stick to it. ESA, I'm hoping we start squeezing further. Although, if it's short here, they can top this in, but meantime, like, short here, and adjust my plan just like my original plan. It's only over 15 minutes. That's enough to come up. I'm gonna come back if it bounces, give me an opportunity, otherwise, that'll be done. Alright, so it looks like we are getting a spike on EDSA right now. And I'm gonna be a little careful before I start shorting this because we just had a double bottom now, $6, so that could be support. So shorting at 750 now wouldn't be as wise, risking 850 or even shorting up here. I'd like to see some topping action because we just had a little curling action. We had double bottom. We're about to break the 720s. So I'd like to see this to go. and have some exhaustion before I just start randomly shorting it. So we'll see if we get that. I could even see it break 980s, so we'll see. We will see. I'm just gonna watch this carefully and find out. And here we go, getting that pop that I've been waiting for. There we go. Still looking pretty strong here. So I took my position, might have been a little soon, but I felt good. I thought I saw some weakness on the tape, and still risking the 50 level like I told you guys I would. So we'll see what happens. Could break through, so I'll stick to my risk. If it does, if it doesn't, then I have a good average, and we can see some fade. But I wasn't shorting blindly. I was waiting for some type of more so weakness on the tape, which I did see. And I guess what I really mean by weakness is more so I just saw it kind of like stutter a little bit here on the tape, other than the original speed it was going. And that made me think, you know, it's shifting direction. I could be completely wrong and it could just continue. But the whole idea was risking off of that 850 area. So we'll see if we get that. I had my first cover just at 650-ish. If I can get there, that'll be nice. No, I'm not going to adjust my risk right away just because we have this pullback. Because I've done that before and that typically gets me into trouble. So I'm just going to keep my risk the same. And I just covered a small piece, or half actually, for $1 a share or 90 cents. And I'm looking for this to continue its fade. If we break 6, I think we're going to go. And I'll take it at 550 maybe. But at this point, I think this is exactly what I've been waiting for. And I like to cover in the 550s, maybe even below that. But if you look on the 10-minute, that's a great candle right there. Hopefully it develops more. And if you look at the 5-minute, it's a nice rejection with 2 million shares. And then even this, that's some nice rejection. So I feel comfortable in this setup right now. And we'll see what happens. Hopefully it breaks 6 and we continue this downtrend. I'm still watching BBI because I was hoping we get a spike, but we're not getting that spike right now. See, BBI, we're not getting the spike. It's actually still holding though. Still holding this area, this 2 of 9 area. So we could get a spike and a nice short opportunity if it can hold. Continue to hold this area. That'll be nice. I could still see this squeeze through 8 and top out. So I'm being patient with this. The only reason I would adjust my risk is if it broke this 585 area. It's the only reason. And now we're about to test 6, which is nice. Hopefully we break that 6, which I think we will. I think we're going to be heavy here. BBI, we're getting that pop. That's what I've been waiting for. At this point, I am really interested in that 3 level. I want to see how this acts up there. I really do. I hope it can really go. I mean, at this point, if you get in at 3, you can have a good risk reward. Shorting at 260s though, there's good support here. I would not short that. And there's some news behind this, and it's rotated its float. So I need to see this kind of move a little higher. This one I'm liking very much. If we hold the 6s here and then squeeze, I would be getting out. So at this point, I would be covering if it breaks above 8. So now I have a very good risk reward. Even better than before. And we'll see. So I just adjusted my risk to $8. Because at this point, if we triple bottom here, you could even say, you know, that's not really a bottom, but triple bottom or even a higher low, and then break up, that would not be something I'd be interested in holding for sure. So as of right now, I feel good about this. I think we'll break 6 still, and I think we're going to continue it down. Just a fade. We'll have all these people who are underwater, including pre-market volume, which is a ton of volume. It's 12 million shares traded, and there's a float of 4.7 million. So it's already rotated its float twice. So I'm hoping we break 6 here, and if we do, I'd like to cover in 550s minimum for $2 a share. But really, I'd like to cover like, you know, 450s, 5s. Like that would be really ideal. So we'll see what happens. BBI. I like this action. Maybe a higher low after a double bottom or triple bottom. And then I'll start squeezing. I was watching this for a short, but there was no shares. Great idea, risking this 240 area, 220, and then you can start covering. Great short. BHTG, was watching this as well. I actually have shares, but I didn't get the pop. I wanted to pop up here, so sometimes patience pays and sometimes you don't. I mean, I almost didn't even get this. It could have just continued to go down. But luckily, I waited, and hopefully it can continue to go down. This time with me. We're having a nice little bounce here, which is fine because we just dropped straight from 8 to 6. So I expect some kind of healthy bounce. Maybe to the 7s, maybe test VWAP. Could be an opportunity to add if I really wanted to. Maybe if we get like up here in the 740s, I could add. But at this point, I mean, we do also have a failed high day break, so I love that. So I'm definitely, and probably add if we get a pop above VWAP. A little squeeze real quick. But if we don't, I'll just stay in my position and let it fade. NETE is very interesting setup right now. This thing is freaking, we had a nice move to 5 yesterday or Friday, and now we have a gap up. And some news with the merge. It's crazy how this stock is moving. Oh, EDSA, we're getting that pop. See what happens here. It looked like it was going to break over 650 here for just a moment. It probably will. But NETE is what I want to watch real quick. Holy crap, this thing forever to load. We'll go back to EDSA. NET is another stock that's 20 cents a share to borrow, which is stupid. But it's also up 112% just today alone, not including yesterday's run up. It's looking kind of nice too. I wonder if I can load it up now. We got this little head and shoulders action. We got this fade. We got this this descending action right here. We do got some support here. I mean, granted, this is not my setup right now. I do hope that it holds, because this will be a really nice short later. But I do like that it failed that high a day. You see this high a day failure where it spiked, tried to go high a day, failed, tried again and failed, and then a lower high. Like, I really like this, but you know, I didn't borrow shares, so I'm not going to touch it. But if you would have shorted it, you probably have to have a wide risk on this, because it could squeeze. So I had to risk like $1, and it would have paid. I mean, we're already 12 to 9, so that's nice. We're getting that pop action here on EDSA. It's already rotated its float, so it could easily come back. BBI, we're finally starting to get that curl action. We got a double, triple bottom here. Can I move this? Got that triple bottom here, and then we got this little curl. So I can definitely see this go. And it'll be a nice short if we can get, you know, in the threes. EDSA just had a failed attempt above 650, which is nice to see, and a pretty nice rejection with volume. We'll see if 6 breaks here. Okay, well, this one ended up squeezing, and the squeeze topped me out at above this 850, or actually at 850. So I adjusted my risk. It's possible I adjusted it too soon, but I am watching it still. I want to see what it does here. If it, nope, this thing is definitely going. So now at this point, I'm just probably going to leave this alone until I see a clear sign. And for now, I'll be done. Okay, so I reshorted this, and I could be wrong here, but we just had a failed high day break, topped out 3 times. We'll see what happens, but I think now this thing is probably donezo. I'll have my first cover at 850 just in case. Should get a down tick towards there. I'm okay with my second short. Could be wrong here, but this is like one of those setups that I like. Just adjusting my desk here, so bear with me. Looks like I might get that execution, late 50s. Yep, took half. And the other half, I'm looking for a further breakdown. Because at this point, I really do like this. So I'm hoping we get further breakdown here. Below 8. Maybe 750s is what I would like to cover at. Let's see what happens here. It could do the exact same thing where it squeezes again and then I get out for break even, but it looks like we're getting that. And it's going to be very tempting not to cover here in the 750s. I probably will cover. Mainly because, I mean, it's a nice little setup right here. I have a cover here at 7. You know, I'll do it right above VWAP, 758. Let's see if we get that. We should get a VWAP pop. If not, I don't know. You know, part of me wants to hold for a bigger move. Yeah, part of me wants to hold for a bigger move here. But at the same time, I'm just going to take the profits and wait for another pop. Because I think we'll get a pop here before it just dies out. But big picture, I mean, this is looking really nice. This is what I was looking for. We got exhaustion. Look at that, 5 minute, 10 minute. Yeah, I like what it shows me here. The 30 minute failed, 15, 10 minute, 5. I want to see this top out again and then come even further down to 7, 650s. I think we're going to go. Like, I'll feel a little upset if I don't cover at least a small piece, so I probably will cover a piece in the 750s, 760s. But I'd prefer to hold at least a piece for further breakdown. It's interesting how it's not getting close to VWAP. Or it gets close to it, but misses my order by like a penny. I think the low here was 65. I mean, I'd be pretty shocked if it doesn't at least test it. If it doesn't, then I'm going to cover a little bit more in the 70s. All right, I'm just waiting. So I covered a small piece right there. Now I only have a quarter size position, and I'm okay with that. I think at the end of the day, this quarter size can pay very nicely, especially if it continues to go downwards. So I'm going to stay in it. Very happy with waiting for this action, for this top action, before I just started randomly shorting. So that is something that I gotta document here for myself. All right, so I'm gonna let this trade play out a little bit. We may recover here, but I have a small position now that, it also could just fade. So I'm just holding this out. I love this rejection on the 5. Look at that, 10-minute, huge rejection, big selling, 15. And where do we go to the weekly here? There's nothing major on the big chart. I mean, obviously this thing sucks at holding its gains. So I'm holding, and if we can start to keep fading, we can keep going. So I'm gonna hold this small piece, risking 10. I mean, literally, if it hits 10, I'm out. Hopefully I don't get squeezed like before, but it's such a smaller piece, I'll leave with gains. I'm gonna come back once this chart develops. So with this last position, it's very tempting to cover right here, because that is what, $2.50 a share. But I only want to cover this last position on a reason to cover, like a lower high, higher lows and higher highs. But right now I feel comfortable. I expect this to bounce, chop around, but if it can continue its downward trend, we could see 6s, we could even see 6 break. So we'll see what happens. I may, be wrong, but I'm okay with that because I took most of my profits already in the 770s and 850s, so I'm going to give it some room to breathe. Okay, so I just adjusted my risk now to the 850s. A couple of reasons, because we're starting to trend now. We made a double bottom, higher low, potentially a higher low. And if you look on the 1 minute, I just don't want to see this break through 850. If it does, I think this is just not my play right now, and that's okay. But I'd walk away with $1 share in my last position. I'm in at 950, so I'm happy with that, and was very patient. I expect this to continue its downtrend, but if it continues this uptrend here, I am comfortable getting out of it. Look at the 1 minute. It's holding this trend line. It's also triple bottom and now higher lows. This could be dangerous. So you'll see here that they've just been recycling the same bull crap news over and over, which is keeping it alive. So it's potential that they could want to keep this alive. So I just have a tight risk now, and I'm going to let it play out. Either I'm going to get stopped out for $1 share profit, or it's going to continue its downward trend. If it breaks this 7, I think it's donezo. Okay, so I'm in EDSA still. I like how it's acting. We're fading. We haven't really got a bounce. We had a bounce up to the 750s. And we really haven't had a bounce yet. So it's hard for me to justify adjusting my risk from 850 right now. Although, I mean, definitely if it got above 850, I'd be getting out. If it got above 8, I could see it test 8 and then come back down. But at the same time, if we hold 6 and then go above 8, that'd be kind of a red flag to me, actually. I'm kind of stuck here if I want to adjust my risk right now, if I want to see how it acts here. If it breaks 6, I'd probably be risking the 750 level, because I think if it breaks 6 and then break above 750, that'd be concerning. So I'm going to keep my risk where it's at and maybe cut it if it breaks above 8. Either way though, I mean, I don't need to have pressure to adjust risk right now because it is fading. And it's 11:30 Central Time, which is 12:30 Eastern. So I'm just going to let it fade and come back, and hopefully it breaks 6. So I have a cover at above 650. And I'm okay with that. I mean, I've been really patient. I was hoping we break 6, which we did, but we held. So because of that, I am gonna take my profits. And the good news is, if I take profits at 650 or anywhere near there, that's $3 a share. So very happy with that. Happy with this trade. And it'll be nice if it doesn't break 650, because then we just continue to fade and I'll have a good position still. But if we do continue to fade, if we don't and we break, I mean, it's potentially, it could go back to 7, and as long as it holds under 750, but this is now a quadruple bottom, and I'm not going to hold and hope anymore. I've gave it plenty of time. I've been in since this perk right here. So I've already been in it for 3 hours. So I'll just let it play out and see what happens. I'm willing to guess that I'll probably take profits. It's probably going to make me take profits at 650. So we'll see. And I'm done. Took my profits at 51. And happy with this trade. I'm done for the day. Could continue to fade, but I'm done with it. If you're liking this type of content, make sure to comment below. Let me know your thoughts and any ideas that come to your mind. Share those below as well, because those ideas can spark new ideas for me to do new types of content. On top of that, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you'll be notified for future content that comes out, because I do multiple pieces of work weekly. Thanks.